Welcome to Soul Fire Ascension. This space is held by Raven, founder of Soul Fire Ascension and Raven's Healing Arts, a sacred place of healing, transformation, and remembrance. Raven is a clinical and past life soul regression hypnotherapist, Reiki master teacher, angelic alchemy practitioner, and spiritual coach. Her work bridges grounded therapeutic healing with soul remembrance, guiding others through past life regression, Akashic exploration, and deep transformational healing. She walks this path with wisdom and grace, grounded like Raven and led by the heart of White Dove dancing. Walking beside her is Lisa Lovelight, a cosmic human in the living process of remembering who she truly is. Working through the heart, the field, and the unseen, Lisa guides others back to their own knowing. She is a past life healing hypnosis practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive healer, and transformational coach, weaving energy, remembrance, and quantum awareness to help others reconnect with their soul's truth and release what no longer belongs. Through Sacred Heart Quantum Healing, Lisa holds space for deep restoration, multidimensional healing, and the awakening of the authentic self, inviting the heart to lead where the mind once ruled. Together, Raven and Lisa hold a shared intention to awaken remembrance, to gently dismantle inherited programming, and to reveal the truth that healing lives within us. Here we explore ancient wisdom, living energy, and the knowing that when we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors and future generations. May what is shared here serve your remembering, soften what is ready to release, and awaken the truth already living within you. Welcome to Soul Fire Ascension. Greetings. Welcome to another edition of Soul Fire Ascension. We did have a planned guest tonight. She did confirm, although she hasn't showed up. But we are not going to disappoint our audience because our audience is important to us. We advertised a show. We're going to give you a show. It may not be as interesting as walking on a starship or anything like that, but hey, it's us and we love you.
That's right. Well, wait a minute. We can walk on a starship. We just could use our imagination.
Right?
Absolutely. And
we could.
And good evening to all who are out there. Welcome to another fun, flowing evening with Raven and I. And like Raven said, we don't want to disappoint. And Raven and I are pretty good about just going with the flow and chatting it up.
That's right, because we can have a conversation together for hours. It's
absolutely.
Whether anybody be interested in it, I'm not sure, but we could have a conversation.
Absolutely. But we always have something to talk about. We always have great things. And we were going to utilize this show anyhow. Before we plugged Maria in, we were going to use this to chat about mastery and our masterclass that's coming up in the very near future. And you have many things going on in the background, behind the scenes, right? With your website, all these new ideas and new courses that are evolving on your website. So
yes.
We've got plenty to share for
Absolutely.
sure. Mm-hmm. And I just
So,
got back, and I just got back from, I went to, I live in Illinois, and I traveled to Ohio for a few days. I went to Serpent Mound in Peebles, Ohio. And so for the spring equinox. So yeah, so we've got plenty to fill in.
yeah.
Oh, and you've changed our background. I love it.
Yeah, I'm changing the background because if we're not going to show up, I'm going to do I think I have the logo for my website. Yep, I do. So here we
Awesome.
go. So if we hit that right there on Lisa's side, or take a picture of it.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
wait.
yeah,
It's backwards. We're back.
yeah. Take a picture of it. It will send you to Raven's Healing Arts, where I
Awesome.
have lots of new courses coming up, and I'm in the middle of having a archetype quiz. I've got the quiz put together. I'm just working on an email glitch where once you get the results from your quiz, what archetype you are, either you're a flame holder, you're a secret keeper, an oath keeper.
Ooh.
There's 6 different archetypes that people are. And it has a lot to do because I have a lot to do on my website with ancestry, because I feel like our DNA is like what our ancestors affect our DNA. And when we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors and we heal future generations. So I have a whole class about ancestral trauma and clearing that up. But I'm also doing this quiz so you can, and it's free. So you can find out what archetype you are. And once you do find out what archetype you are, it will give you a detailed list of things for you and think like how it runs in your life and makes your decisions and things like that. And if you want to know more about it, then I will be offering one-on-one sessions, archetype sessions. So it's almost working. Just maybe this week it'll be totally finished, but it's almost working. And I have a free class up there as well, how to love yourself, or the self you never loved. Everybody says you can't do this, or you can't love anybody till you love yourself. And so I wanted to know how I could learn to love myself, so I did. And then I developed the class. Most of my classes I have developed from personal experience. So, but if you hit the little thing up by Lisa's head, which is this way, opposite because of the camera. Yeah.
That all the time.
It'll take you to Raven's Healing Arts, and everything but the archetype quiz is working correctly. I mean, actually, you could find your archetype through the quiz now. I just want you to be able to get the detailed email about it, and it's good couple 3 paragraphs about your archetype and the characteristics and how you think about things and decisions you make based on this. So anyway, finished babbling.
That's excellent. Well, I'm happy to hear that you developed that. And may I ask, so how did that blossom?
I really don't know. I have gone on other websites and they have these little quizzes about, who are you or whatever, and what's your body type or whatever, your chakras, what chakras are good for you. And I started thinking about it. So how are we different from each other, as far as some of us are oath keepers, some of us are flame keepers, and we all have a different role that we play.
And it ended up being like 6 different archetypes. And I was like, we could have a test and you could tell your archetype. And then it would get people more involved in knowing, a little bit more about how they are, and give them some insight into how they behave and why they do the things they do, So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's enlightening, right? For sure. Right. I know personally that I like to know more about myself. I like to know more about my soul. And there are different ways for us to navigate to learn more about ourselves. And like you said, so the archetype is somewhat like a category. And then as you mentioned, it'll give you a couple paragraphs that describe like your personality or things that you're likely to do just because of that archetype. And so moments like that, they're like, aha, oh, that's why. Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
So find that to be quite helpful.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it's all about healing, and what resonates with, like not all of our shows we would totally agree with. But we put it out there because we want our audience to be subjected to different modalities. And what they resonate with is what they need to look more into. And so we like to put things out there so that people can understand that there is a lot out there. And whatever they sort of resonate with, they can go and explore that. If they don't stay with it, don't stay with it. Because sometimes, like we evolve on our past, I started out, in the medicine family, and then, I evolved into, I learned how to be a Reiki master. And then I evolved from that and studied with different medicine men or medicine people, of many different tribes. Oh, yay, Maria.
Hey! She made it.
Yay.
Awesome.
Hi. Sorry about
Welcome. Oh, no worries. We're glad to see you.
Yes.
This is Maria. Yay.
Welcome in, Maria.
And let us play her little video so that we can explain exactly who Maria is. And it's good because I have a bunch of questions.
Oh, okay. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So let me play your video. Well, I have to find it first. Lovely evening. How are you this evening?
Very good, with the exception of just coming in and visiting with you.
All right. Yeah, here it is.
She has walked on a starship and speaks with the Galactic Federation. Born awake to a reality beyond this world, Maria Martinez has navigated timelines, dimensions, and unseen realms since childhood. A descendant of powerful shamans, guided by archangels, ascended masters, and cosmic intelligences, she has walked the corridors of her own starship and has been called upon by interdimensional beings for guidance and leadership. Maria Martinez, architect of soul liberation, quantum alchemist, cosmic weaver of sovereignty. Join us on Soul Fire Ascension for a conversation beyond the veil. Friday, March 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Soul Fire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Lovelight.
What a beautiful introduction. What a beautiful video.
Thank you.
Always amazing. You always do an amazing job, sister.
I try. Every time I feel like I get a little bit better.
Excellent.
So now, if you look on your screen that way and you take a picture with your camera, you will go directly to Maria's site. Yes, that way. Good job, Lisa.
I'm learning. It's opposite day.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Raven, this timer that I am looking at, that's just for our purposes, correct? Our viewers don't see that. Perfect.
No, they don't see that.
Excellent, because it's like right over my mouth.
Is it really?
That's okay, though. As long as we can hear me, we're good. We're good. So, yes, welcome in, beautiful flame. So wonderful to meet you, Maria.
My pleasure as well.
Excellent. Excellent. And Raven, I'll let you, since you're so excited with, we don't know where to start. You're amazing. You're cosmic, galactic, multidimensional.
I could probably ask you a million questions, but you know, I came up with 10 to narrow it down. And I don't know if I'll get to ask all 10, but I would like to ask a couple of them for sure. And one of them is that I was really interested. I went to your website and it's amazing. And you guys, again, if you take a picture up by Lisa's head, that will take you directly to Maria's website. And she's an amazing lady. But from your bio, it said that you've said that you were born awake.
Yes.
And aware of multiple dimensions from your childhood. What are some of the earliest experiences that made you realize you were perceiving something beyond the ordinary world?
Oh, that's a really good question because
Thank you.
Yeah, because it actually, I think it took me a little while to realize that it wasn't the norm for everybody to experience what I was experiencing. Or I should say, for me, it was normal to be in that world and to astral travel, to spend time with divine beings. Excuse me for a second. Losing my voice here. And that is interesting. So early on, lots going on today. For me, it was play, and it was normal to experience divine beings everywhere. And I remember probably later, like maybe 8 years old, having conversations with my parents and friends, and especially one particular friend who was a shaman, who they kind of pointed out, this is not normal for everybody. This is unique to you. And my siblings are also very gifted. So to you and to some degree, your siblings. So that's when I started sort of seeing, I wouldn't say the contrast, but the difference in the connection that I had with divine beings and the many missions that I did early on. I started going on missions when I was 5 or 6, and they were just, the experience was I knew what to do. It felt very normal. It felt very natural to be surrounded by beautiful divine beings. Some of them I recognized, some of them had images, some of them were just pure light. So that for me was sort of the way things were. Never really questioned it because it just felt so natural. I come from a lineage of shaman. My grandfather is a shaman. My mom is also a healer. So we didn't really talk about like, hey, we're the healers or we're shaman, but it was a knowing sort of that this is who we are. So that experience very early on, traveling to many dimensions, doing a lot of astral travel, helping restore spirit fragments, and even participate in certain sort of wars. It just felt natural. And I also remember having an awareness that when I was there, I wasn't in my little body. It was just this sort of bigger light body that I was in. That also felt very normal and natural to me. So I think innately, and I knew what the experience was, but I didn't have the words to describe that in the 3D. But nobody really questioned it, so I didn't have the need to express what was happening because everyone else was also familiar with it. What was very interesting, though, growing up, that having that experience at that early age, it desensitized me from what I was seeing, meaning that I saw very dark and I saw very light beings. And to me, they were just beings that would come into the field. Some of them felt a little bit threatening, but for me, it just felt like, oh, there's another either thing or being that just walked in through this portal, opened up a portal and came through. So I feel like for a long time, for me, it was just, oh, interesting, another being that looks either a little bit dark or a little bit light. And it wasn't until I got to college, but my shamanic initiation started at 8. So coming in with that knowing, being awake, and sort of being in an environment that didn't really judge that part, the only thing that they did was be a little cautious because like my mom would tell me, you don't have to tell everyone you can do all of this because there'll be a time where they'll want your help and you're not really trained yet. So we need to be sort of careful and cautious about this. So at 8 years old, I started my initiation into shamanism. At the age of 18, going into 19, I started my actual training, and that continued for about 7 years. But between 8 and 18, I was constantly working with my mentor unofficially. She was training me. She was helping. She was doing ceremonies with me. So I would say that from the time I met her at 8 to the time of 18, I was already learning how to create boundaries, learning in the physical world, the information, like bringing in the information into my conscious awareness, what I was doing in the astral plane, clearing, aligning certain things, even doing psychic surgery, dissolving, uncreating witchcraft, black magic. So I was already doing a lot of that, but it was sort of what I did. It wasn't like, wow, this is what I'm doing. It was like, oh, today we're going to do this. And everything was experiential. Like she didn't come in or I didn't come to her and she didn't have a board for me and she explained what we were doing. She just would sit. I would sit with her. She would go into trance. She channeled other beings. So I would feel the other beings guiding me. Okay, the other beings would come in and say, this is where we're going. This is what we're going to do. Just follow. Or just, and we would exchange, like, what are you seeing? What are you doing? What's happening? So it was very interesting to learn that way, but also it activated, I feel like, faster, and it accelerated me coming online. And then when I consciously decided to do this at the age of 18, then I feel like I aligned even more with my mission here on Earth. And then that evolved into other things. Though I still went through my learnings and lessons, I was able to shorten that duration. And then now work with others to accelerate their ascension into the quantum and their true, authentic, sovereign self.
I like how you said true, authentic, sovereign self, because I have been contemplating that a lot lately. With most modalities and most practitioners are talking about the higher self. And I feel like sometimes explaining it as the higher self puts it over here, but when you say the authentic self, it puts it more heart-centered and a lot easier to grasp. And I understand what you're saying about what you were told when you were young, because I come from a medicine family that I was taught by my grandmother, and it's grandmother to granddaughter.
Mhm.
type medicine. And my grandmother told me I would know who I could talk to and who I couldn't,
Mhm.
you know. So that's beautiful. Lisa?
Maria, and when you said that you had a mentor from the age of 8 to 18, was she somewhat like a family member, or did your mom feel like it was time for you to have the mentor in your life, or was it a divinely guided just
I feel like it was divinely guided. I've had several mentors in my life who were divinely guided. She came in to our life when I was 8, but she came in through a family friend, and immediately she saw that I was doing a lot of astral travel and work in the astral plane. And she was very feisty. She was like, "Come here. We're going to take care of that. We're going to make sure that nobody takes advantage of your light and your energy when you're in the field." So she was just very like a lot of fire within her. And she's like, "We're going to take care of that. And I'm going to teach you how to do all that you need to do to make sure that you stay in your sovereign state." So it's a lot of fun working with her in that way. But she recognized my mission. She recognized the gifts that my other siblings also were bringing in. And that's when she recommended to my mom that we start creating sort of boundaries and show her how to clear her field and how to stay in her awareness and her authority. And so again, it was off and on to the age of 18, but officially 18, that's when I had the conversation with her about, you know, this is who I am and I'm ready to master this. Because when I was in college, I had this little tiny single dorm room, but it felt so big because multi dimensions would open up at once and different beings would come in to my room. So it was interesting. It was a wow, but at the same time, it's a little bit disruptive for a college student, and especially from the hours that they were showing up to the hours that they were leaving. So that's when I made the decision to really dive in and move into a level of mastery where now I could command, now I can bring it in, now I can move into the channel, now I could channel and bring in downloads instead of just it happening. It's something triggered it, it's happening, now they are here. Now I could close uh, close the doors or close all the dimensions that were opening up or open more.
that's
Well, you're answering all of my questions just about. Oh, which is
yes.
amazing. Yes.
And thank you to Tamura. My apologies if I'm not saying that appropriately. So I like how Maria said all of that. Nothing felt dishonest or manipulative. Thanks, Maria. And thank you for being here, all of our viewers. And so please feel free to ask any questions or interact during our show. That's why we have this lovely banner system, so we can have interaction. Thank you.
And that's also why we like to go live too, because we like to have our audience participate and ask, you know.
Absolutely. And we have another great comment as well that came in prior to that. And learning and remembering are very related. Very cool.
Very cool.
And that's the truth, isn't it?
Yes.
Some of us are remembering. Maria was blessed with, like she said, being awake and aware from the beginning of her journey. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So I am super excited about, in your bio, you say you're visiting your starship. One of the most fascinating parts of your story is visiting your own starship and walking the corridors of the Confederation ship.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share what that experience was like and what you learned there?
Oh, yeah. Well, going to my ship, I do that on a regular basis now. I take people to my ship, also to their own ship, and I facilitate them meeting many of their team members or council members, and even um, other aspects of their self-actualized self to embody some of that their technology that's available to them. So that's a lot of fun because I get the question of who are my guides or who's working with me or who was I go, well, let's go see. Let's go see and let's go meet them. And so I facilitate that. So I take them to my ship. And I love walking the corridors because of my ship and of the Confederation ship, and also just the corridors of the galaxy, because they it's almost like you don't know where you're going to end up, like, but you don't know, like, it's going to be something amazing and fun, but at the same time you're like, I wonder what am I going to experience when I go down this corridor. And there's always something new, and there's always something to know and to experience and to embody, and many times that leads you into a new level of activation every time we travel. And I want to say that walking to your ship or traveling to your ship is actually very accessible because it's the living information that you are. It's the divine blueprint of who you are. When you're there, it's exploring all of you and everything that's available to you in the past, present, and future. So everything is available to you. Anything that you ever wanted to find out, or anyone who you ever wanted to meet, it's available there because it's already part of you. But going to the ship, it's like going to the library. It's a living library. And when you go into the different corridors, depending if you have an intention, you find yourself in that room full of that information, or with that group of beings, council, that it's already part of you, that it's been waiting for you to meet them to share that information with you. Sometimes we go into what I call the med bay if we're doing healing at different levels, DNA healing, cellular healing, or we go into other rooms, other chambers, and they all may look different. Some of them look very earthy, meaning like they look like nature. Others look very beautiful crystal rooms that we go in, or others look very much like technology, like pyramid technology, sacred geometry. So it's very, again, that technology is very accessible, and it's every day I take people there because when you go into a higher frequency and you allow yourself to receive, you are more easily activated because you're in that space of allowing. But going back to your question through the Confederation, so the first initial times that I was sort of invited to go, the very first time I went, I actually didn't go into the meeting room. I went into what looked like a training room. And when I went into the training room, it kind of looked like a dojo or, like a karate studio or something like that. And there were other beings sitting around in the circle, sort of like there was a mat in the middle. And it felt like I knew why I was there. So I walked in, sat down, and I was sitting around everybody else. And they were having a spar, which was really interesting because I've been sort of in battles in the astral plane. But this felt very different. And, the beings that it was a practice, the beings that you were fighting with, they're 3 times your size. So I remember the first time going, I didn't win. And it really stood out in my mind. Like, I was thinking like earthy, like this person is too big or this being too big. How am I ever going to, maneuver him so that I can sort of have this match? And I remember the second time I went back and then went back again. And then I finally won. And winning wasn't just like you're done with your training. It's like, now it's the next level. And the next level it wasn't physical anymore. It was pure technology, pure magic. It was the, what your imagination could access. So it was the power of your imagination. If you were sort of practicing with somebody and you wanted to throw that person across the room, telekinesis, then that's what you did. If you saw that, the person had fire, if you wanted water, and you threw. So it was, again, it was accessing the different levels of who you are, realizing that everything was possible, and everything is consciousness, universe, particles, energy that you can use, manipulate, maneuver to do whatever the task was in hand. So that was very interesting. And then after that, I remember coming in, not at that time, but a different time, coming into the actual conference room. And I remember sitting with them, but I remember saying, I want to meet everyone. I want to see who everybody is. And so I got up and I stood behind and I started looking across, and it looked like everybody had turned away. And then I heard somebody say, You already know them, but this is the ego that wants to know and wants to have proof. You've been having conversations with them, meaning like I didn't have to see their faces to know that they were real or know that they were there, because innately I already knew. And this wasn't the first time, but it was the first time I was consciously remembered being there. But then after that, I went back again. So I realized this part of the ego wants to celebrate. Hey, I'm in the. So after that, again, learning to put my ego aside, the interactions became very much engaging. I was also traveling with them, and the travel was, we moved to a different place, and then we were in a different place of the ship. Again, there's no time, and there's no like we have to walk. We just say we are there, and then we're there. Teleportation. So I met different beings that were on the ship from different galaxies, their mission, and also I understood the role that I had with them. And this kind of continued over time, where I met was in different timelines with different team members, and also meeting different aspects of myself that was already either the forefront of the war, or as a support, or as a guide, as a guardian, as a protector. So that learning continued, evolving into learning more about myself, learning more about my mission, learning out how I was working with different galactic beings, and really the overall mission here on Earth, because we have different levels of our mission. We have our mission here that we're serving at this level, at the conscious level, 3D level, and then we have the interdimensional mission, and we have the galactic mission. So understanding the different levels of my mission, and then the roles I was playing in each of those, and who I was being. When we talk about the higher version of ourselves, the next version, well, that version already exists. And that's our aspects of ourselves that are very self-actualized, like that, my Andromedan self, my Arcturian self, my hybrid Andromedan Arcturian, the light luminous being that I am. So all these aspects of myself, and learning what they were doing, and then learning to integrate that knowing and that technology into the now, and then learning to bridge it into the 3D, and utilizing here to continue to activate the divine blueprint in humanity. So it was very
wow. That's amazing. And so now you said that we all have a starship?
Yes.
And it almost sounded a little bit like the Akashic records at some point, the library. So
yes, and I work with it in different ways. So I work with it as the divine blueprint. I work with it as the ship. So that divine blueprint, the difference between the two, when we work in the divine blueprint, or when we look at the divine blueprint, I'm mainly looking for what can we upgrade here? What has been distorted? What can we upgrade? And then we look at the codes, the crystal codes that can activate. So we bring in the right codes to activate the divine blueprint. So you're constantly elevating, and so this is aligning you more with your higher aspects of you. When we go to the ship, it is part of your divine blueprint, but the ship is already that higher technology that you are. It's sort of your safe place. It's your home. Is where you can go to heal. Is where you can go to learn more, even do more research about yourself, or get some downloads about yourself. So, but again, the information is there in the divine blueprint, in your ship, or in the Akash. So they're very similar to the living library. So however you want to access it, and sometimes I do it one at a time, because sometimes information just comes in a little bit differently, but then we have, this sort of big picture of what's really happening. And the ship, I use it because the ship is also very organic in the way that whatever you need, you will find. So when you go to your ship and you're there because you're ready for something new, then that new shows up. If you go to the ship because you need some healing, that healing is available to you. If you go to the ship because you're feeling like you're ready for an activation, that activation will be available to you. That's the way I work with it, and that's what I've seen that works really powerfully.
It's like
amazing.
So, I mean, do we meditate to get there? are we just how do you explain, like, I know you can't tell us exactly.
Would you like a process?
Sure.
So we can do a short process, and I can invite you to come to your ship.
Absolutely. That would be amazing.
Let me just check if it's your ship or my ship. Okay. It's the same process, but this will be my ship. But you can do it in the same way.
Okay.
Okay. So let's have fun with it. Let's all come into space. Let's come into sacred space. Let's come in to a present moment of now. Come into your heart space. Come into the center of your head. Relax into your body, and then begin to expand beyond your body. Begin to elevate your consciousness. Elevate, 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 elevate. And expand beyond, 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 beyond. Feel yourself very expanded. Come into the place of stillness. And if you're feeling a vibration already, it's because you moved into your Merkaba already. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. Okay, one more deep breath. As you move into the space, your ascension vehicle, your Merkaba, and for some of you, it may look like a sphere. Maybe it's just a place that feels very still. For some of you, it may look like sort of a pyramid or a number of pyramids around you. Feel that there is a frequency. It's almost like a readiness that's happening. You're being tuned into so that you're able to move into the space, into travel. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. I'm just going to tune some of the energy here. Okay, one more deep breath. Okay, now there you go. Feel yourself moving. You're accelerating, you're ascending. And for some of it, feels like you're on a roller coaster going up in an angle. For some of you, it feels more direct, going straight. Just feel, and you can feel sort of like this speed, almost like pulling you back into your vehicle. Su tu ram hau nai ta mau ka hatsa tu na ha e etsa tu ju u ta dine yetia karuna suta. One more deep breath. There you go. Some of you feel like you came to a stop. There we go. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. The doors are going to open. And you can step out and then into. And this is the receiving room. Feel yourself coming into the receiving room of the ship. And just notice what you're hearing. Notice the space. Notice what it looks like. For some of you, it may look like the big wide room. For some of you, it may look like it has some white walls and maybe these very large windows. And if you look at your windows, it looks like you're looking out into the universe. And go ahead and notice you're being greeted. One of the beings that is greeting you is your higher self, one of your higher selves. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. The room is getting filled with the many of you that came to visit. One more deep breath. So they're going to take you on your own adventure. I'm going to guide you, but we're going to go in different rooms. So you're going to experience your own experience. So go ahead and set your intention here. What is it that you want to know? What is it that you want to learn? What is it that you want to get out of this travel, this experience here? You will have your sort of your own guide, your higher self, and another guide with you. One more deep breath. So from this place, notice that when you look out around you, there are many corridors. Go ahead and choose the one that feels more in alignment with you. For some of you, it feels going down this corridor. It felt like a really short distance. And then you're in a big space that, again, feels very open, very much like the universe. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. For some of you, it's like you're going down the corridor to the left, to the right. For some of you, it goes down the corridor to the right, to the left. Whatever that looks like to you, go ahead and have the experience. And notice that as you continue to go down these corridors, there's a change in the energy. It's like your field is becoming fuller, like you're connecting to something that feels much bigger and brighter and higher frequency. And it feels almost like you're being lifted, like you're no longer walking, but being carried. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. And again, you're still moving down the corridors and see yourself coming to a place that has two doors. Go ahead and notice that the doors open. Go ahead and enter. Go ahead and look around. What you came to experience, you will experience. Notice who's there. Notice what they're offering you. Notice what they're inviting you to do. Inviting you to sit and it looks a little bit like a med bay. It is very high technology, so it kind of looks like a lounge chair where you sit on. For some of you, you're invited, and this feels a lot like nature. You're invited to sit and receive, but you're receiving from below, like you're being connected to the root or to the roots of this beautiful place, and you're receiving in this way. For some of you, you're going into what looks like a waterfall, but this is pure alkaline light that is nourishing, activating, that is also helping you remember and bring online. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. And then some of you chose to meet some of your guides. So see yourself as you walk into your room, that in the center of the room, there's a light. It almost looks like a pillar of light. And this pillar of light expands even more. And look, and just feel, notice, perceive these guides are coming to this pillar of light like a portal. These are part of your council. These are part of your team. These are guides that are ready to share with you who they are in their technology and help you activate it in the 3D. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. So while you're having your experience, again, your experience is ever evolving. And as you intend, as you ask, you can ask as many questions as you want. You can ask to be shown. The guides that are with you would decide what that is for you, you know, what level, how much. On my end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you hold the frequency and expand your capacity. So we're going to work with your multidimensional bodies to raise the frequency and vibration. So that whatever you receive, you're able to sustain, materialize, fully integrate, and even bring online in the 3D. One more deep breath. Go ahead and feel into your body. What is happening with your body? Especially in the heart space, and then this is a heart space going down to a power center in the back, right into the heart space, in the sacral. So it's right behind the power center. These areas are being activated. And for some of you, it's the hands as well, to just see what's happening in your own experience. Naita sahanakait asita shemeheneke keautsutuji tatsita tira atsatarane yeteretsete ukayukaratsate. Some of you are being teleported to other places. You can even feel the movement of the room. So each of the room is becoming like a mini ship. Maukahate teneshiat satujene yetia kakara mauna yuturu tsutuja. Hakatsita nina nina satuji itatsutarana hita meju uka. Sahita ida kuta mahanakatsita je keketsete je usatu sahutaka anaita joaki. Go ahead and experience. So as you're here, and everything is divine timing and divine order. We have several of the beings of light who are also part of the Confederation coming through as having their. So as we came to this place of light in our readiness and in our willingness, also in our devotion to our soul's mission, they're coming forth to acknowledge you. Go ahead and notice Sirians, Lyrians from the Royal Council, Arcturians, and Andromedan. Elohim amasuati tarakatsata shinana yetera intaya. And notice that they feel very familiar to you because they're part of who you are. They've been communicating with you. They've been activating you. They've been sharing their ideas, inspiration, ways to move forward, of embodiment. I notice that they're connecting to different parts of your multidimensional bodies. Inani amak usati harakatsata hateke eneyete usatu shahi kaharata ukayo karatsa mahanakayita yenesete. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. And just take a moment to receive, to integrate, to experience, to know. Feel yourself as the luminous being that you are. Feel yourself in this alkaline place, in the place of no thing, in this place of everything, in this place of stillness, in the place of the field, of infinite possibility. Feel yourself accessing all that is available to you. Feel yourself integrating all that you're ready to integrate. Feel yourself in communion, communication, and connection. Feel yourself in divine partnership with all the beings that are part of who you are, aspects of you, and part of your team. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. And if you haven't noticed, I opened up multi-timelines and multi-dimensions. Some of you are in different dimensions. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. Many of you feel full, so we're going to start beginning. We're going to begin to come back. So we're going to start coming back. And when we come back to the first point of entry. We express our gratitude. You made the connection consciously, so this connection is already yours. Okay, before you go, we're running crystal codes. Shautaratsa, replenishing you, helping you sustain the new level of you, expanding you to receive more, expanding you to know more, expanding you to access more, to be the next highest potential. And then see yourself coming back into your ascension vehicle. And then see yourself coming back down to your body. And we're gonna run the pale rainbow light as well. The crystal river spiral. Fully back into your body. Fully back into the now. Very good. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes back into your body, back into the present moment.
I didn't want to come back. Oh, that was amazing.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. If you're feeling lightheaded, you're still coming back.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that is a quick experience, but when you're there's so much possibility. There's so much that we can explore, so much we can know, so much we can uncover, so much we can activate and integrate, so much that we can bring online.
Wow. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was going to say, I didn't realize that I came from that race of people, but nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some of you that went into the room to meet your guides, I usually spend more time going into every chamber so you can really remember and integrate and have the full experience. Today was, again, a little bit of coming in, visiting, say, here, take a look. But all of this, we can go in there and spend a lot of time there, meaning like we don't have to rush. You can really meet your guides, have conversation with them. You can be introduced to new guides as they come through the portal, and help you integrate whatever you're ready, or access more of your potentiality. So it's really fun, and I make it fun as well, because the more fun and joy you have, the easier it is for you to access and integrate and go with it, and even be able to go back to it whenever you feel like you're ready for the next.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
And also go to the website so you can actually get the full version of it, because I feel like just this small amount was so expansive and amazing. I can only imagine what the full, session is like. It's amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Gratitude. And Tamrua says, thanks. I knew we'd have fun. I didn't know doing what. Thanks. And when you were talking us through, I don't know if you heard one of my kitties meow. Her name is,
Yes.
this is Alcyon, and
That's
or Alcyone. However, like tomato, everybody says the brightest star in the Pleiadian constellation a little differently.
Yeah.
She's like, take me with you. I have a team of galactic kitties.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love it.
That was great. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Boo even decided to visit us. She was like, "Oh, Mama's doing energy work."
Mm-hmm. And Maria, when if we could just touch on just a little bit for our viewers out there that are not familiar what it means to be multidimensional. And I know you explained a little bit about it earlier, but let's take healing, for example. And you taking the client in on the ship to go for a specific, purpose, right? So if someone wants to go do healing, the concept of, say, for instance, what is ailing us in this physical moment may not be related to anything here on Earth.
Yes.
Can we do just a little snippet to share with other folks?
So there's a couple. So there's sort of, when I say multidimensional, there's one multidimensional, and then there's the interdimensional. So multidimensional, you're a multidimensional being. So you're already here in the 3D, but you're multidimensional. And what I mean by that is that you're a mental body, emotional body, energetic body. You're a soul body, spirit body, plasmic body. And that is one that is here in the 3D. And I work with each one of those individually, because we can get deeper into the root of different things. They're integrated, but many times they're working out of sync. And when they're working out of sync is when you feel you're not feeling yourself, you're not aligned, you're feeling a lot of imbalances in your physical body, because ultimately you're in the physical body. The physical body is the vessel for everything. So we work with them to align them and then bring them back into the physical body. And then we also work with the physical body so that the physical body can hold the frequency of these higher bodies. the physical body also has energy, and we look at the physical body in these ways as well. Like, what is the emotion that the physical body is holding? What is the mental belief system? So as you can see, it's like there's a lot of overlap. But when we sort of have them step out individually, and then we go one at a time, and then we see how each one is affecting the physical body, then you understand that, yes, some of it is mental, some of it's emotional, some of it is spiritual, some is energetic, and to a lesser degree is physical, because all of these bodies are manifesting in the physical. And then when we address all of these, the physical also dissolves. So that's one dimension. Then, or that's the multidimensional bodies in this 3D. Then we go into the higher, the 5D and above, where we look for other interferences. We look for things that are happening in other timelines. That may be trauma, that may be karma, that may be contracts, that may be tagging, tracking, or tracing by other demonic beings. There may be interferences from ETs into that aspect of you or into your DNA. So when I open dimensions, so let's say I'm working with a client and they're talking about something really chronic, which I see a lot of those clients. Medical community doesn't know what I have. They diagnose me with this, but they're just basically managing it. So we open up everything. And this is why I love working with the Divine Blueprint and the Living Library, because we can see so many facets and layers and so much information as the Divine Blueprint, as the Living Library, as the Akash. So when we open everything, I can see their timelines, their lifetimes, their karma, their contracts, agreements, where the spirit has been trapped, where the spirit is not in the body, where there are a lot of soul fragments around, where the DNA has been interfered with. And I see it all at once because I open it up like a Divine Blueprint. So it's a think of it as like sacred geometry, that it's 4D, 5D sacred geometry. And, each layer, you look at one side and it has some information, and you look at the other side and it looks different. It has different information. So this is kind of the same thing when you open up everything all at once. When you look at one side, you're like, oh, okay, I can see here where there's demonic interference. Oh, I can see here where there's ET interference. Or I can see here where you created some contracts. Or I can see here where you had some trauma that is now kind of spilling over as karma. And clearing all of that helps you become more aligned, actualize, and have greater connection with your channel, greater connection with source, move you into sovereignty. Because what's not keeping you sovereign is everything else that's interfering in these other planes and dimensions. So your health improves, your focus and clarity improves, your ability to access your potential, your capacity to create more, build more, hold more, your wealth, your abundance, your prosperity, the way you communicate, the way you speak creation into being, so the way you manifest just sharpens. So your whole life really changes overall. I hope that explains
Thank you. Oh, absolutely. I feel like that will be helpful for those who are not, excuse me, who are not familiar with the terminology of the multidimensional beings. So that was
Well, and you did mention soul fragmentation. So soul fragmentation is another one of my questions. So soul fragmentation is something many spiritual traditions speak about.
Mhm.
How do soul fragments become scattered across time and space? And how do you guide someone in reclaiming those parts of themselves?
Mm-hmm. So some people refer to them as soul fragments, spirit fragments. And because I see spirit and soul different, the soul fragments a lot of times have to do with like past lives that you've had, that your soul got fractured either through a trauma, and that could come from different areas: physical, mental, emotional, energetic, or even spiritual trauma. The soul fragmentation happens when you have that type of experience. The spirit fragmentation happens when you go out in the astral plane and you don't have a good connection with yourself. So the connection with yourself is self-love, self-acceptance, self-belief, and trust. So if you don't have that connection with yourself, the spirit doesn't always come back right away to you. It's still part of you, but it doesn't come back right away, or sometimes it doesn't come back at all. And especially if there has been trauma, because trauma tends to kick out the spirit. When that happens, the spirit gets so the light gets diminished, and it even begins to take on qualities of the human, meaning that it begins to think that it's limited, or it starts feeling limited, because it's really not. It's infinite light, right? It's infinite light, and light cannot be broken, cannot be contained, cannot be dimmed or diminished, unless it believes that it can. But in that separation from you, the same way as we are separated from source, we sometimes believe that we're not enough. So we start acting small, invisible, unworthy, undeserving. So something similar happens to spirit. And when we restore spirit, I go in and find the fragment of the spirit. A lot of times it's trapped somewhere because a demonic being said, ooh, yeah, it doesn't remember where it is and where it needs to go. I'm going to take it. So a lot of times it's trapped somewhere and is being siphoned, is being tortured, and we go in and awaken it. So we help that aspect of that being remember that it cannot be broken, it cannot be diminished, and it awakens, and it itself breaks free and comes back to the core star. So that's one of the things that I've noticed a lot in that separation. What I also know is when there's too many of those fragments, that the physical body feels very weak. The vitality is very low. They look very sickly, like low energy, not a lot of desire, and often get sick a lot, or they have, again, a chronic condition that just like chronic fatigue, something that kind of takes their vitality away or has them kind of in survival with their vitality. So when we restore that part of spirit, or all those parts of spirit, that shifts that right away within that moment. So, and then with the soul, when it's fragmented, I work with the part of the soul in any aspect of that person and age. So there's a little bit of inner child work that happens. So identify the time, and so the time, the age that happened, the story that was created for that soul, and then what it believed. So again, took on an identity. So we basically dissolve that identity and restore it back to that infinite light. And then we reset it by, again, connecting it to the light, to the core star, and then amplifying all the way through. So we reset that timeline. So those are the two ways that I work with soul fragments and spirit fragments.
Excellent.
Wow. I just keep, that's all I can say right now is wow. We have another comment. Another comment from, and I apologize if I crucify your name, Tamura. Oh, fun reminder. I enjoy making divine power. Watch your mouth. You are speaking things into being. That is so true.
Mm-hmm.
And the reminder is for me too. Every time I make it, it's a fun reminder. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. I mean, we do speak so much into being.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We're creating, whether we're consciously creating, intentionally, or unconsciously creating, we're creating.
Absolutely. I know that your time is limited.
Yes.
And we are so grateful for the time that you have spent with us.
My
But I
pleasure.
have one more question, if that's okay with you.
Okay, sure.
Well, actually, we one more question for you, and then one question we ask the audience, if you don't mind. I mean, we ask every guest, but humanity's evolution from your perspective and the guidance you receive from these higher collectives, where is humanity heading now in our evolution of consciousness?
To freedom, cosmic freedom. That's where we're headed. So many more of us are awake. Many more of us are holding the light as way showers. So many of us are channeling that higher wisdom. And the more of us that come in awake, we are creating that ripple effect. We're distorting the old and opening up the field for new access or new levels of consciousness. And we are remembering and we are reclaiming our true sovereignty. And that's where we're headed, to be powerful sovereign beings and master architects of our creation. So creating our divine life. And it's very powerful.
That
Excellent.
is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then the question that we usually, this is our final question that we ask all of our guests. What message would you like to leave our audience with?
Yeah, the message, and it's along with the question that you asked me, where are we headed to, is to move into full responsibility, full authority, take on life, realize, the statement that we were saying earlier, that you're creating your life, you're creating your reality, you're speaking creation into being. So move into your full power of awareness and decide, I am the master of my destiny and what do I want this reality to be, and move into the expectancy of that. Lean into the expectancy of that, letting go of the old, letting go of everything that was, and allow the new. Just hold the new as the only option of being your divine self, fully expressed, fully authentic, fully powerful, your supernatural self, abundant, healthy, wealthy, expressed, purposeful, creating the impact that you want to create, but really own that. Know that it is yours and that it's accessible.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We
Yes.
so enjoyed you being here. We could talk all night, but I know that, your time is very valuable. And for those of us who are watching now, and for those who will be watching in the future, please make sure to go to Maria's website. So there's so much more amazing things on her website, and you have to go there and check it out and have some sessions with her. She's amazing, as you can see.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for guiding us in that little mini adventure that we went on in our show. That was awesome.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's so much fun.
Oh, it is. Maybe one day we'll get to have you again, and
Yes,
that would be
absolutely.
fabulous.
Thank you so much. Blessings.
Yes. So, and to our audience, we will see you in a couple of weeks. And we would like to thank our audience for being here and for your participation. You're the reason we're here. We're thankful for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Tamara says, yes, thank you very much. So T is grateful. I don't know the identity of T. So this individual is very grateful for you visiting us.
Oh,
and so thank you for your interaction with us this evening.
thank you. My
And we
pleasure.
hope that we've pronounced your name correctly.
Yes, Maria Martinez.
Yes. Awesome. And we will see you all very, very soon.
As we close this space, we invite you to carry forward what resonated and gently release what no longer belongs. Remember, healing is not something you seek outside yourself. It lives within you, moving through the heart, guided by wisdom and held in truth. Whether you joined us live or found this conversation in your own time, trust that you arrived exactly when you were meant to. Until we meet again, walk in beauty, walk in remembrance, and keep the fire of your soul lit.